Hey, good afternoon. My name is Keith Buswell, and for those of you that know me, you know my background. But for those of you that don't, been an observer for about 2 years now. And prior to coming here, I have a 10-year history with SIM and security data lakes. And just prior to coming here, I worked at Crowdstrike. And one of my absolute favorite things that we did at CrowdStrike is there was something called Cool Query Friday. Absolutely loved it. So it was a way to connect with the community on basically there was different use cases that customers might have, and to say, hey, I'm really trying to understand this, and basically just be able to go help them and craft a query to kind of go do some unique things. So I wanted to see if I could have a little bit of fun today and observe and just see if I could recreate some of those and just provide another platform that might be available to reconstruct some of those queries and just be able to do some of those use cases. So the use case that just stuck out to me is one of the ones I wanted to maybe approach today was being able to identify users logging on with old passwords. I think kind of more often than not, a lot of organizations are going to have like a 90-day password policy. And it's like, okay, who's maybe logging onto machines that has passwords that are older than that? What are the usernames? What are they logging on to? And things like that. So for a little context, I'm in my Observe tenant right now. And where the data is coming from is our partner Cribble. We're leveraging essentially the streaming engine here under the data, under sources. I basically have configured the CrowdStrike FDR pull inside of here. And then from a destination standpoint, I'm essentially just sending a webhook over into Observe to get that data in. So what it looks like over here on the Observe side, if I come into my data streams and I go to my default data stream, inside of here I have a CrowdStrike token, and you'll see I'm getting about 2,600 observations per hour inside of here. And this is what the raw data looks like as it's coming in. So what I have done already is if you come into our log explorer, I have the CrowdStrike FDR data set inside of here. Basically a bunch of the event simple names already parsed out and computer names and stuff like that. So what I want to do is I brought over this query here. Let me go ahead and pin this to the screen. And this is what the query looked like that we were using to go look for those old passwords inside of there. So what I wanted to do is go see if I could recreate that. So just kind of dissecting this query here really quick is I'm seeing a couple things that I'm already know that I'm not going to need, and I'll provide some context there. So for example, right here, joining on the AID master. So AID master is a way where it's like in a lot of all the logs that are coming in, you're going to have an AID, essentially some unique identifier for the computer name. Not every single one of those logs is going to have the actual friendly computer name inside of it. So what you can do is that you can go create a table that says, hey, anytime I see this AID and the computer name together, go extract those fields, create a lookup table off of that, and then we can go enrich our logs with it. And we can do that by running this join statement. So what I have done inside of Observe, if I come over here and go to our data sets, let me move this query off the screen here really quick, is that I have our CrowdStrike AID table here. You can see computer names, the AID, the AIP, and I'm going to go edit this really quick just to kind of give you an idea. So basically, we know that anytime we see an agent online, event simple name or host name changed, that is going to contain both the AID and the computer name. So it provides an opportunity for extract both fields, go grab those, put them inside of a table, and now we can leverage them for a lookup to enrich data that doesn't have the friendly computer name. So basically filtering on those, go make a column, grab the computer name. I'm doing a pick call, just kind of eliminates a lot of the noise that you're seeing inside of the table. I only want the timestamp, computer name, AID, and the AIP. And then basically one of the things that's unique to Observe is we have something called make resource. Now a resource for Observe is a way that you can track the state over time, something that's kind of a living, breathing thing. It's around for a while and it changes state. So think of an observability world like pods. It's running, it's not running, it's crashing, it's all the different states that a pod might go through pending. Is that it's like, hey, I want to know what was the state of this thing at a particular point in time. And so a resource is a fantastic way that you can do that. So what I did, I said, go make a resource off the computer name, the AIP, And the primary key for the resource is the AID, and then go create a label for the computer name. That's kind of the thing, the friendly thing that I want to really leverage from it. And you'll notice this table down here, there's some orange inside of here. And what that's letting you know is that something has changed about this table over time. So what I could do is go to my laptop right here and go to the AIP, and I can say, hey, show me the changes over time. And it'll bring up the table and it'll let me know, like, hey, well, from February 25th to March 27th, this was the AIP for this resource. However, on March 27th at 9:42 in the morning, it changed to this IP address, and that's existing all the way up until the last time that we did an update to this table, April 26th. So just or when it's valid to, essentially. So it's just kind of letting you know, this is the current thing that we have seen so far, and no new changes have been put in this table. So this is the current existing item for that. So it's a really cool way that you could even take your time scrubber and just rewind the clock and say, hey, 21 days ago, what was this thing? What was this? So it's a really nice thing for like IP addresses. I don't typically see computer names changing too much, but that could be potential as well. Just really kind of about anything that you like, hey, this is a living, breathing thing. It's stayed over time. It's around for a while, or even short-lived. And it's like, I want to know like how it has changed. You can also see inside of here that, basically after I saved that, let me go to really quick, just a little bit more context. And I'm going to go to the FDR logs themselves, open the dataset page, and I'm going to edit this. And I'm going to just explain why I don't need that join statement. Is that when I created this, I said, basically, I only want Crowdstrike logs, go grab timestamps and do all this thing, make those columns, and then go pick the columns I want. But right here, I said set link. And what a set link is, you kind of think of like a lookup table, is that we have that resource now. And basically what it says is, hey, in your current data you're looking at, you have an AID. That data set also has an AID. Go fetch its computer name, and where they match, just go enrich it inside of here. So now I no longer have to go do that lookup anymore. So all of my logs are just automatically enriched with that data. So as I come scroll through here, let me go find one really quick here. I'm going to say filter, let's go grab DC1, for example, and just go filter on that. So if I go double click on this, it says, yeah, we know who that is. That's domain controller 1. Here's its AID, and here's everything we know about that machine as well. So that's kind of what the set link function does for you, is it just provides all that context moving forward. So going back, let me go ahead and close this out here. Leave, we're not making any changes. So as I looked at this query, just kind of FYI, that's why I already know there's certain things I'm not going to do. However, what I want to do is, first off, there's some fields I can see that I'm already going to need extracted. So let's go ahead and do that first. So what I want to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is go filter, and then we're just going to say user, we need to bring back a little bit more data. Last 30 minutes, I don't have any. Let's just go last 24 hours here. And filter, user logon. Let's go grab that. Now, what you're going to see inside of this data is, if I go open up the raw logs, in the query here, we're looking for things like the password was last set, logon types, the user principal is the user admin. So we're going to want all these things inside of here. And this is really what you're greeted with the raw data. So if I go take a look at password last set, for example, it looks like you kind of have like a Unix timestamp inside of there, logon type 7. So what the query is doing is that there's some enrichment that's happening inside. Basically, it's like, hey, for example, if you see a logon type 2, that's an interactive logon. So to provide some friendly names to some of these things, because not everybody knows what a logon type 2 is, typically inside of Observe, what I like to do is upload lookup tables. So if I have friendly names for certain things, I would just upload a table that says, hey, if you ever see logon type 2, call it this. And then you could just go look it up, much like you saw me do with the AID. However, this query is taking care of all that heavy lifting for us, so I'm just going to leave it as is for now. And I'm going to go extract the fields really quick that it looks like we need. So I'm going to go ahead and collapse my raw log here and go up to the column, and we're going to say extract from JSON. And down here at the bottom, what I want to do is I'm going to go grab some of those things that it looked like I needed. So I needed the user principal, username, user is admin, password last set, the logon type, and I think that was about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit apply. And what that's going to give me is, now you can see all those fields are extracted here for me. So what I want to do is I'm going to grab this query, and I'm going to let our Ollie AI assistant try to do the heavy lifting for us here. So basically, I already know I don't need some of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab basically from here up and grab this and jump into Ollie GPT. And this is our built-in LLM that's essentially been trained on our documentation, our query language, other query language as well. And so what I'm going to ask it to do, can you convert this query to OPAL? And OPAL is the observed processing and analytics language that we use inside of here. And what you'll notice is that there's a lot of similarities between our query language and some of these other ones. And a lot of that's by design. You know, don't really want to, recreate the wheel. Some of these query languages are very powerful. So you're going to see a lot of similarities. So here is what Ollie GPT says it thinks will work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy it as it is. Let's close this out. And let's go ahead and move this off the screen here. And we're going to go into OPAL right here. And we're just going to simply drop this in. So right now it's showing me everything that I've done. It's like, yep, you filtered down to user logons. You created all these columns. So now I'm just going to go enter and I'm going to drop in exactly what it showed inside of there. And let's go take a look at what it did. So the first thing that's doing is it's saying, okay, well, I didn't do user logon. We already saw that you had that one. So basically the next filter was password last set can't be null. And it put in some markdown, which is nice as well. Let me know what's happening. It says I'm going to go make columns. If I see type 2 interactive, that all looks good. If the user's admin, basically if it's a 1, it's admin. If it's 0, it's standard. That looks good. Password last seen from seconds. That looks good as well. And then the next thing that it's doing is the password age. So when I go take a look at this, I think the way that the timestamp is formatted when I was leveraging the LogScale query is a bit different. I don't think I need to do these things inside of here. I'm going to leave this out for right now and just as is. And then it's rounding the password age. And I don't need to do this either. And the last thing is that it says I'm going to filter on password age is greater than 91. That makes a lot of sense considering, kind of the average password policy is around 90 days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this. We're going to go take a look and see what it did for us. So now, instead of that Unix timestamp, so now I have our user principal, username, user's admin. Over here, we have the password age. Now I can see the average password age for some of these users and the logon type here as well. So this is pretty interesting. I think I have a pretty good understanding for what I want here. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. And to do that, I'm going to leverage my pick call. So it's just saying, hey, what columns do I want to pick and really display? And we're going to use the timestamp. And then as I go take a look at this, I think maybe like event platform would be good. The computer name. I'm thinking as I scroll over through the data here, probably just user is admin. That would be good as well. Username. Password last set is good. Password age. And then logon type. Cool. I think that should give me a good view of what I'm looking for here. And then tell you what, let's rewind 30 days. Let's go do this for the previous 30 days of data. Great. Awesome. Looks good. So this alone could be a really nifty table that I want to save. So what I'm going to do here now is just come in and say actions. And actually what I'm going to do, I'm just going to save this one. And we'll just call this old password lookups. And then what I'm going to do is save it into my Crowdstrike favorite queries folder and just say done. So that could be the end of it right there. What I see a lot of times my customers want to do is like, maybe I'm not the person that would investigate this or dig in deeper, is that we'll come up here and be like, hey, you want to go share this URL, copy a link, and then I could go give this to a coworker. They drop in the link, they put in inside of here, and it'll take them right to where I left off. So that could, I guess, kind of be the end of this. I'm going to try to get a little bit more dangerous here and do something on the fly, see if we can be a little bit more creative. So what I'm thinking I want to do is maybe go create a visualization off of this. So let's try something like this. So what I'm going to do is right inside of my query window, it's telling me right here, if you want to use our Copilot, just put in comment lines and go kind of type what you're looking for. So I'm going to put a couple comment lines and get the average, let's say password age by username, and let's do and group by computer over time. This is kind of the result of what I want to have happen. And right now it says hit Command K to let Copilot let you know, see what we can do here. So I'm going to hit Command K and see what we get. So what I'm going to do is select just the top option here. So it says, I'm going to go create a time chart, 1 day, average the password age, group by the username, and label computer. And I have a red underscore here. Let's go see what's going on here. Let me just back that out. It didn't quite understand. I'm going to type computer. Okay, so here's what I want here. There we go. That looks good. And let's go run this. And so now it's going to go create a time chart. So what I think might be useful on this one is let's go do something like a heat map. I just think that might look cool. So basically what I'm going to do is the X is the valid from, the Y is the computer name inside of there, and then yeah. So something like that could be pretty interesting. But what I'm thinking is something more along the lines of the Y being the average password age. And then the heat map, let me move my face out of the way here for us. Instead of count, we're going to do the average. And what I want to do is tell it the unit that I'm looking at here is milliseconds. There we go. Okay, cool. Let's go take a look at what this looks like here. So now if I hover over this, I can see Keith logging on to DC1 with a password that is 6 years, 4 months old inside of here. And then going down a little bit further, I can see my other logon to my laptop, and then kind of so on and so forth. I have this other one down here, username observed, log on this label. Perfect. So what might be kind of interesting now is that I'm going to move my face back around here. And let's go create maybe like just a dashboard off of this. So I'm going to say add to dashboard, brand new dashboard, and we'll just say old password usage. And so essentially now I can just come over here, drag my visualization around whatever I want, save my changes, and you know, and then we can kind of manipulate this more, maybe turn it into a time chart or whatever might make sense for us here. But just a really easy way that we can quickly pivot around, create new visualizations, and then go add them to the existing dashboard. So that was pretty cool. I'm looking forward to doing more of these, and I hope you found this informative. Thank you.